More than 20 million people are at risk of starvation.
The enemy is hunger and starvation. That's the war we need to be having, on hunger and starvation.
Hello, I'm Asma Latif, Director of Bread for the World Institute. In this second episode of the Hunger Reports, we talk to Anwar Khan, CEO of the humanitarian organization Islamic Relief USA, to find out why conflict zones are the last mile in the world's goal to end hunger by 2030.
My main concern is the conflict zones. That whilst most of us have got richer, this has been a great time to be a human, unless you're in a conflict zone.
Conflicts, such as civil war, can destroy everything in their path.
مضينا شي شهرين تحت القصف بعد ما بقى نتحمل سحبنا وجينا لهون.
Many people in the world, especially to do with hunger issues, are just surviving. Conflict pushes them over the edge.
Human society relies on infrastructure, roads, running water, health clinics. When conflict destroys infrastructure, communities and even countries can lose decades of progress against hunger and disease.
They're living in caves. Some of the people we're helping in Syria are living in caves. And they lost hope. And there's a generation, we're worried, about the young kids that have no hope for the future.
Before the civil war began in Syria, the country was making rapid progress. In 2007, the child mortality rate was less than half of what it had been just 15 years before, and more than 97% of all children ages 6 to 11 were in school. Now less than half attend school.
Our problem of fixing the schools in Syria is you fix the school today, what's stopping it from being bombed tomorrow? We will, after the war's over, we will still deal with the effects of the war for many years.
After a civil war, a country has a 50-50 chance of falling back into conflict. Development programs can improve the odds by ensuring that people's basic needs are met and enabling them to return to life in peacetime. Farmers returning to farming, children returning to school, and the whole country works to restore the infrastructure and services destroyed during the conflict.
We have two massive crises at the moment. One is the largest number of displaced people, over 65 million around the world. And the second is the largest famine since World War II.
The displaced people, the refugees, and the near-famine conditions are all direct results of conflict.
This is not something new. People have become bored of famines in Africa. We can't be bored of our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity.
Right now, in Nigeria, Yemen, South Sudan, and Somalia, more than 20 million people are at risk of starvation.
The enemy is hunger and starvation. That's the war we need to be having, on hunger and starvation.
How do we save as many lives as possible? And how do we avoid such food crises in the future? The Hunger Report, Fragile Environments, Resilient Communities, begins to tackle these questions. Read it at hungerreport.org.